Hello and welcome. My name is Jaime Tan at Enlightened Spoon, and this is going to be a live stream guided meditation. Tonight I'm doing a Yoga Nidra session, and it's going to be about a 30 to 40 minute Yoga Nidra session. So lying down, and grab your yoga mat, grab your blanket. Hello. Oh wow, look at all of you who's joining on Instagram. That's amazing. I've got just waving to all of you. I've got Instagram going, I've got Facebook going. So if you've joined me here on Facebook or on Instagram, just give me a wave. Let me know that you're here. Hello. So this is going to be about a 30 to 40 minute Yoga Nidra guided meditation, lying down. So grab your yoga mat, grab a blanket, grab some cushions. We're going to wait a couple of minutes for people to join on. Hi, Caroline. Nice to see you again. Cool. So while we wait for more people to join, I've made this a tradition now to pull some affirmation cards. So the last few weeks I've been working a lot with Gabby Bernstein's cards. Today I wanted to work with Inner Compass cards. So this is also by a local Amsterdam girl, Nail. Beautifully illustrated deck of cards on one side. And on the other side, different illustrations with lots of different keywords. You see down there, there's plenty, there's, what is this, stillness. So lots of different themes, you know? So what I love about using affirmation cards is meditation is one way of coming into connecting with self. But sometimes if you want a really quick way, this is literally like less than 1 minute, you know? Sometimes if you just want to take a moment, check in to see, okay, how am I feeling to you today? What message do I need to hear today? So that's what I'm going to be pulling for us today. So let's go ahead and ask the universe, what message does it have for all of us collectively today? And I'll pull a card for us, right? Just to see. And then you'll see what I mean. So, okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to cut the deck. Mirror. Interesting. So this deck of cards comes with a booklet that kind of gives you an explanation, a little bit more like a longer passage of, you know, paragraphs of like how you could interpret the card. So interesting what mirror is. Life is nothing but a mirror reflecting your inner world. We all know what it is like to have our buttons pushed. Be aware of the fact that your reaction says little about the trigger and more about yourself. Maybe you are suppressing certain feelings that chose this moment to come to the surface. Could it be that you still have a conflict within yourself that is now becoming known? By projecting your unconscious judgments onto others, you take away your own sense of responsibility and empowerment. What a waste. Every trigger offers the perfect opportunity to investigate what is still in your way. It is an illusion to seek the blame outside. The Mayans say in Lakesh, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, to greet each other, meaning I am another you. Oh, beautiful. If you recognize this truth, then your world will become clear like a mirror, reflecting many insights and opportunities for growth. So that's pretty powerful. And actually, this is a perfect mirror for exactly the theme for today's Yoga Nidra, which I'll explain to you in a little bit. So, hey, Lewis, nice to see you. Hey, Sophie. Hi, Michael. Cool, so I got some people lined up here on Instagram. I am still not really sure how Facebook Live works and who's on. I can see somebody's watching. So if you're here on Facebook, give us a wave as well. I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes. I know most of you who's joined. This is a 30 to 40 minute Yoga Nidra guided meditation. So grab your yoga mat, grab a blanket, have a bit of a lie down. If you want to grab like a cushion from your sofa, that might be nice if you're lying down on the floor on your yoga mat, to place your sofa cushion under your knees. So you take a little bit of pressure off your lower back as well. Elstein, good to see you joined. Hi, Jana, you made it. Nice. Cool. So Yoga Nidra today, grab your yoga mat. You're lying down today, grab a blanket, grab some pillows, cushions, whatever you need. It'll be a slightly longer session today, about 30 to 40 minutes. Hey, let's wave back. There's a little bit of a lag usually between when you say something and when I see it. So I'm guessing you guys can all hear me. Cool. So every Monday that I do these meditation sessions, I usually do it about 20 to 30 minutes, and it's a shorter session. And I encourage you to lie down, or you can sit if you have a sitting practice. But today, this is really my passion, what I'm teaching you, I Rest Yoga Nidra. So I'm trained in the I Rest Yoga Nidra School of Meditation. And if you've been coming to these sessions, how I will guide you through today will be very familiar. But even if this is your first time joining, no worries. Just come along for the ride, you know. This is a practice that can be done by anybody, anywhere, right? So lying down though today. So if you have a yoga mat or a Pilates mat, a rug, a soft rug, go ahead and get comfy. Run around the house and grab what you need to grab. Hi, Violet, good to see you. It's a Yoga Nidra session tonight. So some of you I know from the Lululemon I Rest Yoga Nidra sessions that I've done. Good to see you back as well. No worries, Violet. I'm just, you know, having more people join on. I'm just giving a bit of an introduction into what Yoga Nidra is, which you know. So Yoga Nidra is yogic sleep, right? And it's not that you're actually sleeping. What I love about this practice is that you're actually moving between different states of sleep, different stages of sleep. So if you know that delicious feeling when you first get into bed, and that first 5-10 minutes when your head just hits the pillow and you're kind of starting to dip down into sleep, that's what we call the hypnagogic state, right? Alpha state, where you're conscious and you're kind of like sort of in this between waking, between sleeping states, right? And then about 15-20 minutes into sleep, you go into usually like stage 1, stage 2 of sleep, which is sort of the more alpha state. So this is an theta state as well. So you're really kind of dipping through between these different stages of sleep. And your level of consciousness, you might be able to follow what I'm saying, but you might be dipping into sort of like somewhere deeper inside. And at any point you start to feel like, oh, I want to come back out again. You know, you start to, it's a delicious kind of floating in between different levels of consciousness. It's a really difficult thing to express, and it sounds a little bit woo, but it's not really, you know. If you just lay down and be open to the experience, let's just see what comes up, right? So more and more people are joining. Hey, nice to see you, Jay. Cool. So how is everyone feeling today? If you can just give me a little like text just to see. The clients that I've been working with in my wellness coaching practice, there's been a mix, you know, that's been sort of up and down. Initially, people were kind of a bit excited at this new transition. I think now, depending where in the world we are, we're like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks into kind of lockdown. Reality is sinking in. And I'm kind of getting the sense from the people that I'm working with that there is a mix of resignation to acceptance, to denial sometimes, to what else is going on? And you might be familiar with some of these feelings that are coming up, because you might actually be dipping in and out of these different kinds of emotional states. So yeah, tired, yeah. And it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Even though we're kind of like home, some people have a lot more time. Some people have a lot less time, depending whether you have kids and whether you're homeschooling them. And I think everyone's sort of really mentally exhausted from trying to deal with this situation that we're all in right now. And that's perfectly natural. So today's practice is really, I would love to work a little bit with emotions and what might be coming up. So before we go into the practice, it might be good to feel into kind of like, has there been a particular emotion that's been coming up for you in the last week or so, or in the last few weeks? And I think the really important thing to note here is that there's no such thing as a good or a bad emotion, right? Good or bad are simply just our way of placing judgment on the emotion, right? Because the emotion just is, it is what it is. And oftentimes, sitting with that uncomfortable emotion, there's always an opposite to whatever emotion that it is that you're feeling, right? Let's take joy, for example, or happiness. Like, you would never really know what real joy or happiness is if you hadn't felt its opposite, sadness, right? It's in relation to each other. So they're two sides of the same coin. So that's what we'll be working with a little bit today, sort of feeling into a particular emotion. And then after a little bit of sort of feeling into that, we start to feel into what the opposite of that emotion might be. Right, and then we'll cycle between both feelings and the emotions. And then maybe we'll try and see whether we can hold space for feeling both at the same time. So I'll be guiding you through kind of feeling different opposites within the body, opposites and sensations before we move into like the deeper emotional opposites that we might be feeling. So maybe something comes up for you, maybe something doesn't come up for you. And whatever happens, it's all good, right? Allowing everything to be as it is. And if no emotion comes up for you, it's completely fine. I will always take you through in this practice. I'll guide you through, first of all, tapping into your inner resource, that anchored, grounded centeredness within ourselves. So this is really the place that we start from always, right? And then I'll guide you through body sensing, going through different parts in the body. And then I'll be guiding you through breath sensing as well. So once we get into a deeper state of relaxation, where we can focus on body and focus on breath, the thinking mind starts to not think. Well, the thinking mind is always going to be thinking, but if you're focusing on something else like body sensations or breath sensations, usually that helps you switch the focus away from the thoughts into feeling sensing. And then we can start to explore some of these deeper things that might be going on for us. So that's a little bit of an introduction into what we'll be doing today. Newcomers, if this is your first time in any kind of meditation practice, it's very natural for your thoughts to wander. It's very natural for, if you start to kind of realize like, oh, I'm not here. Have compassion for yourself. It's going to happen. Just bring yourself back to my voice and wherever we're at in the practice, right? So I would just encourage everybody, no matter where you're at, to have a sense of curiosity and a sense of welcoming, whatever might open itself up to you today, right? Whether or not it's a positive or a not so positive or a more difficult kind of emotion that might be coming up. Or even if nothing comes up for you, or you're just in this nice, calm, peaceful state in your inner resource, let's just see, it's an opening with where we're at. So, cool, I think let's begin this practice. So if you have your yoga mat or an exercise mat and you're lying down, start to get comfy. If you would like to take a pillow or a cushion underneath your knees as you're lying down, that might be nice, take some pressure off the lower back. So starting to lay down, covering yourself, maybe you want to grab your eye mask to cover your eyes, maybe you want to grab your earphones to drown out all the rest of the sounds from around the house. Or maybe you just want to be as you are. It's perfectly fine too. So starting to settle yourself in. And in Savasana, we want to have our feet slightly wider than hip width apart and allow the feet to flop out on either side of you. palms facing up to the sky, slightly away from the body. And just taking a few more moments to settle into wherever you're at. Maybe one long exhale, allowing a deeper state of relaxation to come to you. I'd like to open today's practice with a poem by Rumi. It's very, very aptly titled, The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So as you lay here on your mat, I'd love to invite you to stay in this state of curiosity, welcoming anything that wants to enter into this guest house. And perhaps you might like to start with this as your intention for today. Just spending a couple of moments feeling into what is your intention for this practice and what brought you here today. And perhaps a simple intention of being open, curious to whatever may be presenting itself in your guest house. Is there a place you like to go to? Your inner resource, your inner sanctuary, somewhere that brings about feelings of peace, calm, warmth, security. Perhaps this is a place that you know in real life, or maybe this is somewhere in your imagination. Really allowing this place to come to life. Stepping into it and really experiencing all these feelings and sensations that being in this warm, comforting place brings up inside of you. Perhaps it's somewhere in nature, or it could be your favorite room, maybe even the presence of a favorite person, or an animal or a plant. You're in a sanctuary, somewhere that brings up these feelings of ease and comfort. Now you might be cycling through some images in your head, but really starting to step into the feeling of it. Where in your body are you feeling these physical sensations of being in this inner resource? And then perhaps now allowing the images to fall away and really just tuning into the physical sensations of how being in this space feels in the body. Is there warmth, expansion, or a deep stillness? This inner resource is your safety, secure place that you can come to at any point during this practice. Starting to notice sensations in the mouth. Feeling the lips, sensing the tongue, sensing the jaw and the bottom of the mouth, perhaps even relaxing the jaw. The space inside the mouth, the insides of your cheeks, the roof of your mouth. Tracing sensations up the cheeks, feeling sensations in the eyes, the eyeballs, perhaps even relaxing one level deeper. Tracing sensations up the forehead, crown of the head, back of the head, back of the neck, throat. Now tracing sensations all the way down the left arm, left shoulder, left forearm, left hand. The entire left arm is vibrant, radiant sensation. Now tracing sensations all the way back up the left hand, left forearm, left shoulder, moving across to the right shoulder. Now going down the right arm. So feeling the right forearm, right hand, and your entire right arm as vibrant, radiant sensation. Tracing sensations back up the right hand, right forearm, right shoulder. Now feeling sensations down the torso, belly, pelvis, left hip, left upper thigh, left shin, left foot. Your entire left leg as radiant sensation. Tracing sensation back up the left foot, left shin, left thigh, left hip. Now tracing sensation across the pelvis to the right hip, right upper thigh, right shin, right foot. The entire right leg is vibrant, radiant sensation. Really feeling into this felt sense within the body. Now tracing sensations back up the right foot, right shin, right thigh, all the way back up through the front body as radiant sensation. Now sensing the back body as radiant sensation. Sensing the front body once again as radiant sensation. Now sensing the entire body as radiant sensation. Feeling this warmth and expansion through the body, perhaps even feeling out into the skin boundary, and perhaps feeling beyond the skin boundary. Feeling these physical sensations all the way through the skin boundary to the space beyond the skin. If it's helpful, weaving in sensations from your inner resource, this place of warmth, comfort, ease. Now joining with the breath. Starting to lengthen the exhales. And a deep inhale coming from the belly, and feeling the breath move through the belly, up through the rib cage in all directions, all the way up into the chest. As you join with the exhale, feeling the chest releasing, rib cage releasing, belly releasing. A few more times in your own time, deep breaths from the belly, feeling the expansion through the belly, as well as into the back body against your mat. Feeling the rib cage expanding through in all directions, front, back, left and right, all the way up into the chest. Releasing all the way down into the belly, taking your time. There's nowhere else you need to be. At any point during your busy day, you start to feel any kind of tension or nervousness, always take it back to the breath exactly as you are right now. Deep belly breaths, expanding in all directions. Now, as you continue to focus on the breath and the inhales and the exhales, starting to count down from 7 to 1. So on the next exhale, 7. Inhale, 7. Exhale, 6. Inhale, 6. Continue counting down all the way down to 1 in your own time. Really taking it nice and slow, continuing the deep belly breaths, even as you're counting down from 7 to 1. If you come to the end of 1, go back to the count of 7 again and count all the way back down to 1. At any point you might lose your focus, just start again from the exhale at 7 and work your way back down to 1. in your own time. As you're counting down, weaving in sensations from your inner resource, open, spacious, secure and warm. Wherever you might be at in your count, finishing up the very last count. And then resting here without counting the breath, without controlling the breath. Starting to feel into where in your body you might be feeling a sensation of warmth. Really feeling it in the felt sense of the body. So really taking it out of the thinking mind and feeling it in the body. Where do you feel a sense of warmth? Are there other physical sensations this warmth brings to the areas around your body? Now feeling into where there might be coolness in the body. So really starting to sense your way, scanning through the body for pockets or spaces that might be feeling cool or cold. And really feeling into those sensations. Now going back to feeling the warmth in the body. Sensing your way back into which areas or spaces in the body are feeling warm. Now moving back to the cool in the body. What other physical sensations might be accompanying this coolness in the body? And just really feeling into them and really bringing it into the felt sense in the body. Now, in your own time, cycling between feelings of warmth in the body and then feelings of cool in the body. In your own time, just going back and forth between these two opposites. Continuing to cycle between warmth and cool if this feels good to you. Or perhaps I'd like to invite you to feel both feelings of warmth and cool at the same time, if it's available to you. If this is your first time sensing your way into it, it might feel a little bit strange or it might feel a little bit difficult initially, but as much as you can, feeling into the warmth and the cool, and then feeling both at the same time. And notice what might be happening in mind and body as you rest in this space, feeling into both opposites at the same time. Weaving in sensations from your inner resource, if this feels good for you. Your place of well-being and being. Your grounded, anchored center. Now feeling and sensing your way into where there might be heaviness in the body. Many of us might be feeling exhausted and tired. And there's no need to go into the story of that, but just feel into where you might be feeling heavy within the body. That felt sense in the body. Letting go of the story and feeling into the heavy sensations. Now feeling and sensing your way into the opposite, where there might be lightness in the body. Everything just as it is. Now moving back into feeling heaviness once again in the body. Really just bringing it back into the physical sensations. No need to get lost in any kind of story, no need to get lost in any thought. Just bringing it back to heaviness in the body. Now feeling into lightness in the body. Now in your own time, cycling between heaviness and lightness within the body. And you can continue to cycle between both of these feelings, or if you're able to, feeling and sensing both heaviness and lightness in the body at the same time. Noticing what might be present now in mind and body. Weaving in sensations from the inner resource, your safe place of well-being and being, if this is helpful. So as we continue to move into working with more opposites, perhaps welcoming emotions into this guest house. And taking a moment now to be curious. Perhaps feeling into what's here right now. Is there a particular emotion that you might be feeling right now? Or perhaps it's a particular emotion that might have been difficult for you this week. would you like to welcome this emotion right now and sit with it for a bit? Without going into any story, it's just simply feeling into the emotion and allowing it to be. Just feeling it. If no emotion is present, this too is your experience. And perhaps resting in the sensations of your inner resource, if this feels more comfortable for you. So as you're welcoming with curiosity, whatever emotion might be coming into your guest house, noticing if there's any physical release that might be coming up for you, and simply allow it to be present too. Everything just as it is. Now, if an emotion is present, where in your body are you feeling it? Bringing it back to the felt sense within the body. Experiencing this emotion as a physical sensation within the body. Now, is there an opposite to this emotion? If there is, what would it be? Even if it's uncomfortable, just allowing it to be and sitting with the discomfort. And perhaps even feeling into it and experiencing it rather than thinking your way into it. So really feel it experientially. Where in the body do you feel these physical sensations of this opposite emotion? At any point, weaving in sensations from your inner resource, your place of well-being and being. Now feeling back into the original emotion once again, and feeling into the felt sense within the body. Welcoming it, and just feeling and sensing your way into it. Even if this might feel uncomfortable or difficult, just allowing that space and time to feel into whatever difficult emotions might be coming up. Everything just as it is. Now cycling back into feeling the opposite of this emotion once again. What does this opposite of the emotion feel like? Is there an openness or a contraction? Is there a warmth or a cool feeling? Really bringing it back to the physical felt sense in the body. And then in your own time, cycling between the original emotion and its opposite. Both sides of the same coin. Welcoming it all in your guest house. Now, if you're able to, feeling both emotions at the same time. The original emotion and its opposite. You have all the time in the world And if this is the first time you're doing this, it might be a little bit more tricky or harder to feel or sense your way into it, but just try as much as you can, just feeling into the original emotion and then feeling into its opposite, and then feeling both at the same time. And then noticing what's happening in your mind and body. If it's helpful, weaving in sensations from your inner resource, your place of well-being and being. Noticing any thoughts or beliefs that might be present without going into the story, but just acknowledging the thought or belief if it's present, with no need to change where you're at. And as you feel back into your inner resource, this sensation of well-being and being, perhaps feeling into a joy that might be present. Perhaps this kindness, compassion, a sense of peace. Resting in this unchanging awareness. And really feel yourself opening and expanding into this unchanging awareness of your true nature. A moment of gratitude. Perhaps acknowledging one thing that you're grateful for today. Thank yourself for taking this time for you. A moment to touch back into your attention for today. For staying open and curious, welcoming any emotion into your guest house for today. Acknowledging this intention, embodying it with your entire body. Perhaps feeling it from within your inner resource, this deep underlying essence of well-being and being. The practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. The practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. You may wish to lay here, continuing in Savasana. And if you would like to, go ahead and do that. Thank you very much for joining us. See you next week. Otherwise, if you'd like to come back and join this group again, very slowly opening and closing your eyes, bringing yourself back into this room again. And very slowly bringing movement into your body. And making your way back up to a seated position. In your own time. Welcome back, wherever you might have been. Thank you for your presence. I appreciate you being here. If you'd like to do this practice again, this will live online on my website, enlightenspoon.com/meditation, along with all the previous guided meditations I've done on Monday nights here on Instagram. Hi, Becca. Thank you so much, Violet. If you have any questions or comments, I'm here for another few more minutes. If you'd like to bounce out and have a nice quiet evening, thank you for joining. Yeah, otherwise I've got, oh, thanks, Becca. Yeah, can't wait for you to practice this on the replay. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll be doing another guided meditation, and that's with Studio 44 Pilates on Instagram. She's got a whole week of amazing Pilates and healthy lifestyle workshops and masterclasses. I'll be doing a shorter guided meditation, really mainly working on breath and body sensing. A lot of what we went through at the start of the session today, if you'd like to join. I am also going to be on Caviar Connects, the production company Caviar. They're holding an amazing series of online masterclasses on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. CET. And you can sign up through caviarconnects.com. If you're on Instagram, you want to go onto my bio, and there is like an online meditation link on there that you can find all the information there and figure out how to register and sign up and stuff. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Luce. Yeah. So thank you so much, all of you, for attending. And I don't see any questions. So yeah, if you do have any kind of like more private, personal questions, comments that you might like to ask me, just send me a direct message at Enlightened Spoon on Instagram, or a message on my Facebook. It is on my wellness page. Also at Enlightened Spoon on Facebook. I'm here. Cool. I wish you all a very good evening.